Station 4 Victory League Live. It's a whole new game.
Right. Well, did you think after round one you'd be on top of the Victory League table?
Predicted very much so.
You are obviously pretty confident then going into the game on the weekend and coming away with a victory first up?
Confident that we'd put up a good performance, and I believe that with what we've been working on in the training park, that the lads would definitely take that mentality from the training park into a game environment. Again, it's a game environment, not a training session. So you've got that sort of pressure that's on young kids' shoulders, but no, they stepped up, and I think they've definitely got themselves into a situation where the confidence is definitely coming in.
Obviously you were predicting the team to go out there and perform well, being a coach, but did a 4-1 result surprise even you?
Yeah, it did. It did. We did work on our delivery to the forward three and also the finishing earlier on last week, and also our defensive structure and our transition periods over the last couple of weeks. So looking at the way the lads have played in the Summer Cup leading up into now the start of the season, the transition part of the game is something that we needed to work on, considering we never held a large amount of possession, and we had that sort of pressure from the opposition sides that would cause turnovers and unforced errors. But I think in the game on the weekend that the lads didn't seem to turn over as much of the ball as much as what they did in the past, and I think that's coming with confidence to be able to retain possession.
Looking forward to the clash with Kingborough this weekend. How are you feeling about that?
Confident, actually. Having those lads play against Kingborough at the start of the Summer Cup and scoring 2 goals was a massive big confidence booster for themselves in general, to be able to put the ball in the back of the net, let alone conceding a few others. But now leading into the second game of the season, and knowing that they've got a little bit more confidence in that sort of environment, they're definitely going in there with their tails up, and the best form of defence is attack, and they're prepared to go.
You had a few people around the traps predicting a pretty lean year for Glenorchy Knights this year. Do you think this shuts up a few of the doubters a little bit?
Oh, it's still too early for that. It's still too early for that. It's not going to be, we're not going to set the house on fire that way, but what we will do is we'll definitely make sure that other teams know that we've entered the arena, and having those young lads step up to the plate and have confidence building throughout every training session and every game. It's definitely going to let the other clubs know that we are there to play football, and we're there to play football the correct way. So yeah, we'll definitely enlighten a few clubs to say that we're not going to be sitting down and letting them run over us, as the pre-season tournament probably suggested.
How is Phineas Aldridge after his nose injury, mate?
He's looking better. He's looking better. He was a little bit shaky at the start of the game, and then all of a sudden I think that knocked straightened his nose out, and he's looking a lot better.
He'll be right for the week.
Very much so. Very much so. They're all in good shape. We do work quite heavily on the well-being aspect of the game, and also body management and the mental aspect of the game. So having young children performing on a park in that sort of environment, I think is very important that players are well managing their bodies and their mental aspects. So we don't read too much into social media, but we do maintain a lot of rehydration and also injury prevention, and having young children on that park and involved in that sort of a circle, their injuries seem to recoup a lot better if they manage their bodies.
What can Kingborough expect from you boys this week?
A very hard fought game, so if they're not prepared for a bit of a hard work ethic and they're expecting to roll over us, they've got something new coming, as where our lads are now ready to at least step it up and take it to them, as before they were a little bit subdued, thinking it was overwhelming, as where now they think, okay, I do believe that we can now perform on this stage. We've got the confidence to know that they are only human that we're playing against, and even though we're carrying a lot of young children at 15, 16, 17 and 18, that we can definitely go out there and match them with it if we move the ball quickly.
What weaknesses have you picked up in the Kingborough side?
We've picked up that they like to go forward, but their transition sector of the park of being able to get behind the ball is a bit poor. They all seem to pour forward, and then if there's a loss of possession on their behalf, that the man management to get behind the ball is a little bit softer than is expected, probably because of the heavier bodies. But there again, going from synthetic park to grass is again another different aspect. So if it is going to be a little bit heavier in the weather environment, come Saturday, it's going to pay toll over a 90-minute period on the heavier body than what it will be on a junior body.
Do you think their keeper's a little bit too adventurous, like the sweeper, and gets...
Yeah, I do, and I think that'll be something that we will exploit. We'll look to drag him out of his environment. I don't think it will take too much. I think he will look at coming at us. But there again, when you've got young children who are out there and they're quite keen to play and they've got the agility to be able to move quite quickly and quite sharply, I think that if he's not careful, he might be caught a little bit embarrassed at times. And that's what our main aim is to make sure in the forward third, putting that pressure on that keeper.
So you think Lightwood Park might advantage you guys more than the home team?
Well, we do a lot of training on grass. We do 2 nights a week over the last 3 weeks on synthetic out here, and all our pre-season's been done on grass. So we are quite partial to both. And I think going down to somewhere like Lightwood Park, it's a very good surface. But I think for what we are as a team, in the age bracket that we are, it will suit us, very much so.
Mark, you're noted for long and thorough team talks. How is this group of players reacting to your approach?
Yeah, my approach has changed, right? It's changed immensely. I think it's because I've been in the coach education format of my years now, over the last 5 or 6 years, being involved with being made in NTC. It's definitely sculptured me in a different mentality as a coach, and having certain aspects that need to be addressed seems to be more the point now, instead of the longer talks where I get carried away in the past with wanting to put my points of views across as a coach. It's more on the motivational side of things. I do have Brendan Lacker for that. He is my psychologist coach. So him being there around that sort of core unit for young children definitely takes that aspect off my coaching environment.
You keep using the word children.
Yeah, very much so.
Why is that?
Because they are. We brought on a 15-year-old child on the weekend. You're looking at 3 or 4 players are around the 15 and 16-year-old age bracket. Large majority are around the 17 and 18-year-old age bracket. We've got a couple there that are just turned 20. And for me, looking at that, they still are children. There's the development stage that they're going through. There's the aspect of learning and understanding the game, the way it's evolved, and also trying to soak in the culture and the history of the club. So yeah, they are still children.
When do they become men? And which of your players are men?
None of them are men at the moment. Probably Jay Clay's about the only one currently. I would say there's a man who's broken that cycle, who's been playing at the highest level now for probably the last 5 years. But having a look at a lot of those now, they've all played in the under 20s last year. A couple have played in the VDL. You've got Aaron Wilson, you've got Vinny Kamano, who was with me at the NTC 12 months ago, so that's under 16s. You've got young Stephen Barley, who's again 15. They are children. They are children.
So will they go the distance?
Very much so. Absolutely, and that's part of our training ethics, making sure they understand the mental aspect of the game. Having the foot leg and the footwork to be able to go that 90 minutes is not an issue. It's just a matter of how we predict the game for them to go that distance. And that is, if you can keep the ball, you can dictate the game. And that's what we intend to do. We don't plan on playing an offensive structured game against Kingborough. We're going full out and looking at putting balls in the back of the net.